As we prepare for the first parliamentary election since 2009, one of the youngest candidates running for Li Beledi, a political party which means For My Country, is none other than Yorgui Teyrouz. A pharmacist by profession, he is advocating for better health and environment policies, the dire situation of both recently labeled by Human Rights Watch a risk for the lives and well-being of the citizens of Lebanon. A concerned activist, part of his school scout movement from a very young age, Yorgui was once in a car accident where he witnessed the late response for help resulting in one boy's tragedy. Another incident revolved around one of his friend's grandfather passing because no blood donors were found in time. This prompted him to create Donner Sans Compter, an NGO that conducts blood drives all over the country seeking to increase voluntary donations through a centralized database of potential donors. Because when you started 10 years ago, and I like this because I think somebody was talking about entrepreneurship, and he said, you find a void and you fill it. And that's kind of what you did, isn't it?
Yeah.
Your only competitor was who, the Red Cross?
I don't call it a competition. I don't call it a competitor. I'm trying to help them. On the contrary, we're trying, hopefully, to work better together. We did not work a lot previously together, because I've been told and I've been asked by the Red Cross to go work on my own.
I know that the Red Cross goes and collects blood units and gets people
They don't go and collect blood units as frequent as it should be. Doing 20 drives a year is not enough. When the need in Lebanon is 140,000 units, and I know how much you would collect in a blood drive you would collect around 30, 40, 50 units. Doing 20 a year is not enough. We, as a small NGO, are now doing 160 every year.
Every year?
Every year. And I have plans for next year to double this amount, to get a different bus, to replicate the same model that we were using in Beirut all over the country. And we know that the maximum we need is 4 or 5 buses for all the country.
Okay, so you need to inspire people, young people to come and donate. You need to make it fun. How do you do that? How do you make blood fun?
The thing is, when I first started, Facebook was a new thing, and I directly valued and understood the importance of social media in using it as a tool for reaching out to many. And so the first thing I did was I posted a picture of myself giving blood, and I was just trying to see the reaction of my friends. Will they tell me you're showing off, or will they tell me congratulations and I want to do the same? And I realized that even if they're telling me I'm showing off, if you just shut down this voice and focus on those who look up to you and want to do the same, to give blood. And that's how I started. I replicated this on all my social media pages.
And social media is how it took off.
Yes.
That is the language of the youth, actually.
You can't stay all the time online. You have to go on the field eventually. But when I was posting pictures of my friends on our page, they are not showing off anymore. It's the NGO who snapped a picture of you.
And you started getting more responses.
Exactly. And then it's a peer-to-peer motivation.
It snowballed.
If every person on social media has at least 1,000 friends, if 1% would look up to them, that's 10 donors.
That's 10 donors.
And then that's how it spread.
You started a campaign, and then you started getting people more and more involved. In 10 years, do you have any figures or numbers to know approximately, what you've been able to accomplish?
Today we have approximately 19,000 blood donors in our database. 19, close to 19.
19,000 blood
But when
donors.
we say 19,000, these are the cleaned database. So a lot
the
of
ones that
people
have been
joined.
filtered.
We've organized approximately 630 blood drives in the past 3-4 years, because
in the past 3-4 years?
Yes.
That's amazing.
When we first started, it was only a call center, and then we were just giving numbers to patients to help them. All right, and then the donor
Go
would
to the hospital,
give blood,
donate blood.
Don't take anything in return. Just give and enjoy the feeling and send me a picture. That's how I started. But then later on, we realized that we can't give numbers to patients, so we have to do all the calls. So now we are doing the calls to the donors to send them to the hospital to give blood again.
So you needed a vehicle.
That was for the urgent demands.
Okay.
With the blood drive, we're changing the whole system, because we just don't want to be doing charity work. It's not enough. We don't want charity work. We want to change the whole system, from replacement to voluntary. And to do so, we had to organize blood drives. I did not create anything new. It exists anywhere in the world. So we had a fundraising, we raised 60,000. We put 30 on the bus, 30 on equipments, and then we started using this bus to go to universities, companies, municipalities, public places, and we just deploy all our equipments, the equipments of a regular blood bank. We partner with a hospital.
Are the hospitals willing to partner? Did you find them?
Not all of them.
Did you find them very easily getting on board?
Not all of them. Some hospitals, they would directly jump on the occasion, and they're still working with us on a weekly basis. Other would say, I just want to have a blood drive, just to say that I did a blood drive once every 6 months, once every year, just to enjoy the feeling, or just to fill a bit the blood bank. No, they were not responsive as I was expecting.
But you expected them to be more responsive because we need this. Like, this should be a daily need.
Exactly.
As opposed to just when we need it, let's go get blood.
Exactly.
There's no motivation, you think that's what it is?
No motivation at all. Though it's their patient and it's their hospital reputation, but they would say, it's a big burden, let someone else take care of this.
Part of your work with the youth is you also started school awareness programs.
Yes.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about that.
The school awareness program is a new program that we just started. So far we had 9 schools. It's very interesting to see the reactions of, so we started first with a school where we said we want to organize a blood drive in a school. It wasn't new, it was scary for them first. But it's not the students giving blood, it's the teachers giving blood, it's the parents who came to the school that day to also give blood. And so you see the students looking up to their teacher and parents giving blood. And I heard them say, the moment I'll be 18, I want to commit to give blood every 3 months. So organizing a blood drive in a school was a new thing, and we were trying to see the reaction of the students. It was brilliant. We also have a game, we give sessions, and then we ask them to pledge between 15 and 18 to lead a healthy life, not to do any tattoos or piercings or drugs.
You can't donate blood if you have a tattoo?
You can, but we just want them to be sure that they're doing it in a clean environment, clean place. I'm not gonna tell them don't do a tattoo. If they want to do it, they're gonna do it. But please make sure that you're using a clean needle.
Do you have a tattoo?
I don't, because I can't stop. That's it.
Oh, okay.
If you have a tattoo, you have to wait a whole year, and I'm not planning to stop anytime soon. So yearly I give 10 to 12 times platelets, so that's 10 to 12 patients, and I'm not planning to stop just for a little ink. So they pledge to lead a healthy lifestyle, use protections, no drugs, clean needles if they want to do piercing or tattoos, and they pledge and they get the award, the certificates, and it's doing good.
It works,
well.
inspires them. Something that I know you've spoken about is the fact that there's been recently a demotivation in blood donation. When you first started, people were motivated, and now it seems that everybody's, we get all these messages asking for blood donations, and I think people have become blasé. Is that what it is?
We're constantly seeing on social media posts about people needing blood. We're receiving on WhatsApp broadcast people asking for blood, and it's everywhere. We hear on the radio constantly people asking for blood. And because people now are more exposed to it, they have a tendency to just say, someone else would see it, someone else would do it. 7 years ago, people used to share, used to retweet, used to interact with the post, with the request of blood.
And now?
And now they just prefer to just ignore.
You think it's because there's just too many out there?
Yes.
When people donate, there's been a demotivation because of how specific hospitals or first-time donors, how they've been treated. The exam takes too long, they're not rewarded, they're not thanked for their work.
The thing is, the criteria differs from one hospital to another. And this also creates confusion to the donor himself. The donor experience itself is something that we work a lot in the blood drive. So you have to give them giveaways, you have to explain the process.
You have to make it fun, you have to make it enticing.
And you have to show appreciation to the donor. He's a volunteer, he's not here because he has to give. The problem with the hospital is that they're not used to receiving voluntary donor. They're expected that this guy is coming to serve this patient.
And that's how you change the system.
Exactly.
What motivates you after 10 years in 2018?
In 2018, what motivates me is the new blood coming to the NGO. When I see new volunteers with new ideas, with new motivation, and it reminds me of how I started the whole thing. And
you turned a bad situation into a good one.
Yeah.
Very few people would have done that after a traumatic experience.
It came naturally because of my Scout background, because of my Red Cross background, and I have to thank my parents and my friends.
For you, it's all about the environment. Everybody's got to inspire everybody. We've got to put the word out there.
It's always about people, always.
Yeah, and that's what still motivates you.
Inspire and get inspired.
It's very simple.
Yeah.
All right. This is a would you rather game. And it's cool because we want to thank the guys of the internet for this. I didn't invent this game.
Giving credits.
Yes. Would you rather be famous when you were alive, forgotten when you die, or unknown when you were alive, but famous after you die?
Unknown alive,
famous after you die. Yeah. Okay. Would you rather the general public think you are horrible, but your family be very proud of you, or your family think you're great and the general public think you're horrible?
Ouch. Public thinks I'm great.
Family thinks you're horrible?
Yes. Because I know they know this. It's not true. Good.
Would you rather be transported permanently 500 years into the future or 500 years into the past?
In the past.
Really?
Yes.
Some bad things happen in the past, at least in the future. You don't know.
You don't know what's...
Would you rather donate your body to science or donate your organs to people who need them?
Organs to people.
If you could go back to when you were 20 and give a piece of advice to yourself then, what would you tell him?
Focusing a bit more on my studies. That's it.
You know, at 20, I know you went through the bad accident that changed the course of your life. Would you give something, an advice to yourself then?
An advice?
If you could tell him something, what would you tell him? This 20-year-old Yorgui standing in front of you.
Make the best out of it.
Okay. And you did?
I think so.
All right.
I tried.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
There we go. We often mock care and concern for change, especially when rising to challenge the political status quo is no easy undertaking. Yorgui is the embodiment of optimism and hope in a nation where the light of a brighter hour is dim. Perhaps with a surge of independent candidates, new life and new blood can finally be injected into a political system desperately in need of its youth. If you like this episode of Why Chats and want to see more, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click, click, click!